Hey everybody, welcome to
Hello, this
my
is the
new
commentary
video
track.
that you are now watching. Let's have a little bit of a conversation. Let's talk cameras.
This is a great part coming up.
Film cameras. And let's actually talk about the Mamiya
Just thought that was the funniest
645. So,
okay, here we have the first reveal
the
shot.
Mamiya
The camera.
645. So recently I got into
Try to go for interesting
film
lighting
photography.
We hope
did
the
photography
audience would
for
notice.
a few years on digital, and I decided to switch over to film just for fun. And it is fun. It's very fun. So much fun.
Here comes another great part.
I decided to skip over 35mm and jump straight into medium format. And so yeah, I picked up a Mamiya 645.
Callback.
I actually picked up two Mamiya 645s, but we'll get to that in a bit.
And this upcoming part is pretty
one that I have
interesting.
here is
we
a
really get into the
1000S,
nitty-gritty.
Which basically designates that the fastest shutter that this thing has is 1,000th of a second. The lens on here is a 150 by 3.5, which is my preferred focal distance. I really like a telephoto. I live in Florida, so there's not really much use for wide
Here comes
angles,
a great part.
pretty flat, just landscapes. So you could get away with doing a landscape on a telephoto. It's people will say that's bad, but I say it's good.
Now, I will say, for the record, that this was a blast.
This is the first one I got. I got it from some lady in freaking like Boston or something. And let me get it out of the bag.
And fade to black.
Here it is. This is it. I
We
basically
just thought
stripped
that
it
was the
off.
funniest thing.
I mean, stripped it of its viewfinder, lens, the camera back, the cranks knob. It's busted. It's pretty busted.
Here we get the reveal.
What do I think is wrong with it? I don't know, but I think it might be a capacitor inside of here that started leaking, got damaged. I think the internals are fine, but I read a repair manual. I read some forum posts, as you do, and yeah, I think it's the capacitor went kaput or something. One day it started working fine, and then 10 minutes later, didn't work at all. So yeah, I think I have to replace the capacitor basically, and I'm too lazy to do that. That's the honest truth. So I decided to get a new camera, and this is it.
Great
that
pan.
camera I got. It also came with this 82.8 lens.
We got some insider knowledge
There's only
coming
one
up.
problem. Actually, there's two problems. There's a UV filter that's stuck on here. You can't get it off. I tried most methods of unscrewing. Nothing. And also the aperture's locked up, so I can't change it. It's stuck at 2.8. I tried undoing
Now that
some of the
lens
screws,
was busted, if I recall.
and, not good. So I was able to take out these little screws here on the outer rim, and then these ones were really tight.
All right,
I got
everybody.
the smallest screwdriver
Welcome to
I
the
can.
second
Basically like
part
the
of the
correct
audio
size.
track
I'm pretty sure they're
commentary
correct size,
for
but
this
they're just
video.
So tight in. And I feel like the screws
So
are so
last
old,
time
they
we
just
left
strip
off, I
away,
think we were
so
looking
I
at
don't
the
know.
lens, and we're still looking at the lens.
I don't know. I'll try to.
So
try to get
it's
it
really
open one
funny.
day, but
I decided to
I'm lazy.
record
I'm
the
a very
part
lazy
2
person.
2 months earlier.
Anyways, what am I shooting with this thing? What
We
kind
just
of
thought that
film?
was the
Film's
funniest
important, Without film, you
Me,
can't take
me
photos.
and my team,
So
how
I've been shooting
hard
a
we
lot
worked
of,
on this. So.
Ilford HP5. Lots of it. Actually, I bought a 10 pack.
Here we have the
because I love it so much, and it's cheap.
The tower.
And the developer that I use is the Cinestill mono bath, and that shit is really cheap. You can develop at least 16 rolls.
And actually, the camera.
So if you're doing 16
camera
rolls
stopped,
or something,
so we had to do another
at least
take.
you probably get probably develop like maybe 20. 20 before you start saying like some weird shit on your
I think a
negatives,
great
but
part is coming up.
I don't know. We'll cross that bridge when we get here, but it's like $1 a roll to develop. Pretty good price. Some
One thing I really
maintenance
appreciated
tips
from the
that
writers
I haven't
was
heard anywhere
just how inside
that I came
baseball
up
this
with.
knowledge was.
that I think are good maintenance tips. One is if you have this thing, the shutter only fires, the timed shutter only fires with a working battery inside.
Yeah, I seem
This
to
is
recall
actually an electronic
having to go
camera.
to the
It's not all
bathroom
manual.
at
I
the
wish it was all
time.
manual, but it's not.
So
uh,
there's that.
When you're keeping this thing, I recommend that you get a good quality battery. This is a lithium one. I stay away from alkaline.
When they told me how successful this video was going to be,
they're shitty.
guys
You got this
upstairs
one,
were
Chinese
like,
brand, no good.
maybe we should make a sequel.
So yeah, and the reason you do that
I said no way.
Because of the way this camera operates. So when you cock the shutter, one capacitor charges, and that capacitor
Comes with
allows
some more
starts
pretty
the
good
timer on the
stuff coming
shutter,
up
and it drops
right around
the
now.
shutter curtain. Okay, so that's what the first capacitor does. Then after
And we just
that's
thought that was
fired,
the funniest
second
thing,
capacitor charges up. And
When we watched that back on that day,
raises
that was pretty good. That was a good day. Pretty good moment.
And lifts the mirror. And so if you have a battery in here and the thing is cocked all the way, that's the second tip. Don't keep the shutter cocked.
And I think we're entering the third
You're
act.
gonna have a fully charged capacitor, and if you keep it
Now.
like that for an extended period of time, I can only assume that the capacitor starts to leak, and it might be busted like this. So yeah, like I said, I'm like 70% sure that's what's wrong with this camera. So yeah, 2 tips that I bet you.
What they don't tell you is how much rehearsals you actually have to do before you pull
because
off.
because I made
these sort of things.
I'm the inventor of those rules. Anyways, what else? Yeah. So to meter with this thing, I'm starting to use my
Not for the fan of heart, I'll
GH4.
tell you that.
This is my primary. Well, before it was my primary stills and video camera. Most people don't talk about the capabilities.
A lot of
this
the
thing can
times it
have,
felt like a
recording stills. It
guy
has a
trapped
pretty
in an
small
elevator.
sensor,
He's like banging on
microphone,
the buttons.
but,
He's like yelling,
yeah,
"Get me
that
out!
thing's fantastic. And
Get me out of
the lens I
here!"
have on it is a 45 1.8. It's the Olympus, and it has just about the same.
And we got
actually,
some
no,
more
it is the
good
same.
stuff coming up.
It's the same.
Lots of
focal
peaks.
length as
Lots
the
of
150.
peaks.
So, both of them shoot a 4:3 aspect ratio, which is pretty cool. I really like the 4:3 aspect ratio, and I'm glad I accidentally got the same camera twice. I spent a lot of money to get the same camera twice. So, anyways, also this 220.
And here we get the introduction
load-
to the
loader
220.
insert. Came with this broken one.
That's how many
the
lines of
220 is
dialogue
pretty cool
there are actually.
because unlike the
this film.
standard 120 film back, this fits double the amount of film. So I guess you can hypothetically buy some 220. They don't make it anymore, but you can buy 220 film on eBay, and a roll will probably have
when we first started,
30 shots, and that's pretty fun.
There's a lot of lighting glare on the glass.
It's also,
we actually
I
had to
think
use
it's
a
more,
special
I think
fog,
it's cheaper.
special cloth-like
It
material.
is expired
not
film,
quite
so
cloth.
you might
but
get some weird results, but
it was close
who cares?
enough.
If you want perfect results, shoot on digital, because film, you're definitely not going to get consistent, perfect results every time. Yeah, another thing about the Mamiya, I didn't deal with it. I didn't replace any of the light seals because I'm lazy.
Cutting it pretty close to the
There's light
wire
seals
now.
that are pretty worn down on the
Gonna-
back that go along the film insert part. And then there's also
Just a great part.
light seals that go around the mirror. They go in here. So I didn't do that because I'm lazy, and I'm not going to do that. I don't think it really affects the image quality. I've developed like 6 rolls and I haven't seen any light leaks or whatever. I know people say it's like, oh, well, the reason that the light seals are there too is because it helps dampen the amount of camera shake you get from the mirror when it flies up. And I don't know about that either, because I'm able to handhold this thing at like 60th of a second, and I can get pretty sharp images with this telephoto. So I don't know how true that is. I don't know, we'll see. I've only been using this for a few months, but whatever. Also, one more thing to note is I like to shoot this black and white. I got a yellow filter, which is pretty cool. That just helps increase the contrast. And also, if it's like really sunny, I'm out on the beach, I put on a polarizing filter as well. And that like removes like 2.5 stops of light. But the contrast you get is pretty good. And it looks pretty nice right out the back. Or right off the box, as they say.
Anyways, that's been this is the end. I think we finally made it to the end of the video and the commentary track.
If you like making another
lots
video,
of good
I will
things.
make another video.
Hope you learned a lot. And we had a blast making this film.
What do you want to get for lunch? I don't know, I just thought we'd, stop somewhere quick, get like a sandwich.